I got an email this morning that they're in the 5s, and why not? So you have people that want to move here, you have people that want to move away. You can always date the rate, marry the house. So yes, I do think it's always a good time. I think that there are still people buying and there's still people selling, and there are deals that are there to be made.
Hey, welcome back to the Real Estate Excellence Podcast. Today's guest is one of the top 1% of realtors in Northeast Florida. With over $100 million in career sales, she's a multi-year Jacksonville Real producer, a certified luxury home marketing specialist, and a relentless advocate for her clients. Her "no one likes to wait" philosophy drives her rapid response and next-level service. Now with Realty One Elevate, continue to lead the precision and heart. Let's welcome Sarah Schwartz to the show.
Hi.
A second time.
Yes.
Yes, we were just looking up episode 106, so we're not really going to go into the background of Sarah, where she was born and everything today, because we did it at episode 106, and you can look that up. What I really want to do is, you had a really great year.
Thank you.
And especially, with a little bit of help from a transaction coordinator as a solo agent, I don't know how you could do any more.
We'll see.
Did you get to see your family at all this year?
Yes, I did.
You did.
We actually... This time last year, my husband and I were in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
so we went to Whistler for my 40th birthday, and then...
Which is 3 days from now, your
My
birthday,
41st,
January
yes.
16th, yes.
So, yeah, we did some traveling. We spent a lot of time together. He also helps me with my real estate, so he helps a lot on the back end, making some marketing stuff, doing my website. He's trying to make me have the biggest website in Northeast Florida, and, yeah, we spent a lot of time. I have 2 young kids, so...
Well, this is a question I didn't have prepared, but it made me think of something for those that are listening right now, who maybe thinking about getting into real estate, or maybe just haven't, got to the stride that you've gotten to at this point. But I imagine, obviously, when you started, your husband wasn't part of your business. He's kind of come on,
he's definitely helped me grow.
Yeah. Well, but now, because of the volume you've created, the business you've created, he's able to come in. And then just tell us a little bit about how it's allowed you to, go to Whistler and spend a week or whatever and not really worry about it.
Yeah, so we definitely went when it was a little bit slower, but he helps me a lot with my back end. He's a licensed contractor as well as a licensed realtor, as well as a licensed drone pilot, and he just loves getting licenses. But, he really helps with listings. So if a seller gets an inspection report with all this crazy stuff and they're like, what do I do? Who do I call? He helps facilitate everything, and then he takes the stress off of them, which then helps take the stress off of me. He gets everything scheduled, and then they just send the invoice to the seller. So he helps a lot to take some time off of me so that we can enjoy life a little bit.
Well, let me ask this, because obviously my wife's in the business as well, and this doing something like I don't know if I'd ever license myself as a general contractor. I've thought of the drone thing though.
Yeah.
That's fine. But the way you like it.
Yes.
You guys have your own way of doing things and how you want it. Has he figured that out yet? Or do you still got to come in sometimes and polish it up a little
He
bit?
sends everything to me for approval. So, we started, if I like something that somebody else is doing and I want to kind of make it my own, I just send it to him and he makes it different. So I went to a showing with someone and they had booklets there where it had just a little bit about the house. So then I sent it to him and he came through, and now we create listing booklets for all of my listings where it has a walkthrough of the house, the floor plan, the seller's disclosure, CDD, HOA, and that way when your buyer's coming to the house, they have this nice piece of material to take with them instead of a piece of paper. So he helps me do things to stand out.
Right. In literally having a true assistant that is going to show up.
Yes.
That's going to execute on the plan as the team has put together, which you're coaching the team, and this is the way you guys agree, this is the way we're going to do things. And it must relieve you of a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure you follow up on him, make sure
he's very thorough.
Yeah. Well, I imagine after some time, he probably does make the beds the way you want him to make the bed, right?
Yes. Though I am looking for an assistant.
All right. Well, so let's talk a little bit about too. I mean, you've just short of 36 million.
Yes.
And I was looking at your production. It's not like you did a handful of deals that were $1.5 million, $2 million. Although everyone would love to fill it up. Mm-hmm. You had, and I didn't look at the actual number of transactions. I don't know if I still have it up on my screen. 57 transactions.
Yeah.
57 transactions. Someone out there doesn't know anything about real estate. So 12 months of the year, you're looking at more than it's basically 4.5 transactions a month, and talk a little bit about how your husband, in having his assistants to do those things to take off your mind, getting the house prepped. I'm sure, whether it's landscaping, all the things that you want to make the house look, curb ready, right? And ready for that open house. You're leveraging him. He's taking a lot of that thought off so you could stay forward focusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those, like the videos where the person is like, oh, here's my husband who didn't realize what he'd be doing by being married to a real estate agent.
Right.
That's him.
Right.
So it's so helpful to have somebody even like go put the signs in the yard, go put the lockbox on or pick them up, drop off booklets, drop this off, pick this up. We had one where he needed to go and sand the top of the door because it was too close to the top. So he does a lot of the little things that all add up. Right. He has been doing so much research for my website just to continue to make back ends and pages. I don't speak technology or website, but
we'll make sure we talk about my poster down here about this gentleman here later on, and adding a little AI search to. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you his story in a minute, but go ahead, because I have a commercial. He's a sponsor.
But he just perfect. It's almost like I just worked that in.
Yes, you did.
So he just does so much to take stress off of me, or like. If you have multiple buyers coming in from out of town, he's able to go to an inspection for me if I need him to, or go to a walkthrough, or do whatever because he is licensed. So, he's just...
Yeah.
He's what puts the Schwartz in Sarah Schwartz.
Well... So we were talking about it earlier, and I always talk about it on the show. I think it's one of the most important topics. We're going to go to RE Bar Camp here in a couple weeks, yes. And I believe there has to be a breakout session talking about how do you move to the next level, and because there comes a point where your cup is full, and whether it's a transaction coordinator or wherever, in this case, someone you can rely on to go out and get that sign in the yard on time. Yeah. Go get the lock boxes. You're not having to call them every 15 minutes or worried about that they're goofing off somewhere. He's going out and getting these things done because he's part of it. Is it costing you an income? Well, you were going to feed him anyway, right. Or he would have to have his own full-time job. But you've got to the point where you basically have to employ him.
Yeah, I think that the two of us. Bless him, he listens to all of my crazy ideas, and he usually moves forward with them. And we just do a lot, not just with the business that we already have, but to try and grow it. So, like, for example, we dropped off hot chocolate bombs. So he facilitates everything. So he has the person that he goes to order them. He hired neighborhood kids to put all of our bags together. He takes so much stress off of me. He plans my events. He truly does everything. Well,
that's an amazing partner, because I don't know if I could do that for my wife. I would like to, but I don't know if I have the attention to detail that involves there. All right. What happened this year? You've been producing. Obviously, you were on the show 200 episodes ago, so this, producing is not new for you. But this year, the stat was 70% of the agents did 0 to 1 deal. I think we probably could stretch somewhere in the 80% that did, more than 5 deals, right? Or, did less than 5 deals there. You had a great year, 57 transactions, yes. Which I've seen. There are a couple agents in town that, really put out some numbers, but yet there's others who have curved off in these last couple of years now, 23, 24, that we're doing okay in 21, 22. What's the difference?
I feel like I've really mastered relationship building and just having consistent follow-up and just like being myself. So I love people. So in my neighborhood, I started a neighborhood book club. We hosted Friendsgiving. We do stuff for all of the previous buyers and all of the sellers. So we did 2 events this year. We did a jumbo shrimp game and then ice skating. At the end of the year, we dropped off hot chocolate bombs and champagne to everyone that's ever bought. I think that sometimes people lose sight of the people that bought from them 5 years ago or 6 years ago. But you can ask my first buyer ever. Her name is Zoe. And she will tell you that for the last almost 7 years, every year, she gets something from me. Every year we talk multiple times a year, and we just stay in contact. And I think that really helps when you're asking for a referral from people. If you're not talking to anyone ever, and then you're just like, hey, Tracy, if you know anyone looking to buy or sell, send them my way. And you're like, I haven't talked to you since you sold my house. It's like, why would I work with you, or why would I refer you? I had someone the other day who told me that they would never work with their realtor again because they made them feel like a number. So I've always tried to make sure that people know how special they really are and how important it makes me feel that they include me in this major life transaction.
What would you say to someone who may be in the business 6, 7 years now that has not been regularly reaching back to those people 5 years ago? Maybe just in the last year, to like, man, I need to do what Sarah's been doing, so that they're focused on the people they recently do.
Yeah.
But not to be shy to still reach out in some unique way, and not to go, hey, do you know anybody?
Right.
Just to say, hey, you know what?
Don't ask for the referral. Yeah.
I've screwed up. I really appreciate you being one of my first sales, my first year. How's things going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just check in. How's your house looking? What have you done in the last few years? I'd love to come over for coffee, or I'd love to bring you breakfast, or whatever. I also do Lolo gifts, so that's a way to keep in touch with people every single month. And I mean, some people love it. Some people don't ever redeem anything, but they're still getting it.
They're still getting that email from you. Yeah.
And then I just started my newsletter, so that's also going out to everyone. So I think just staying top of mind. And I'm also really big about not only posting about business stuff. As you can see on my social media, I post about my family. And I think that really resonates with people because they feel like they know you in a different way. Like, I have people in my neighborhood where my daughter had surgery 3 months after she was born. And there were people I had never met before. But obviously, when you move into a new neighborhood, everybody friend requests everyone. And they were like, oh my gosh, how's Sadie doing? If I saw them, and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
She's doing great.
Right.
Which house is yours?
You don't realize who's following you.
Yeah. I mean, it's so nice because I think when people show you that they really care, and it goes the opposite way as well. When I see someone that I saw where they posted something, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear about XYZ, or, oh, that was such an amazing accomplishment, ABC. And I think it just makes people feel like you're really there for them.
I was interesting. I had Dory Nugent on. She's only been in the business, I think, 3 years now, doing well. But she said the exact same thing. You can't post real estate. Because I literally, as anyone knows, I go through everyone's social media before they come on. And some people, before they I even know they're a guest, let's just be a good guest, and I'll go on and look. And when you go on their Instagram page, and it's literally just a picture of a front of a house, and it would say sold or list or whatever, and just all you see is pictures of houses. It's kind of, it just doesn't look good.
Well, and you don't get to know the person.
Yeah.
So it's like, would you rather work with someone who you're like, oh my gosh, they have 2 adorable kids, like mine, and they did this. How was your trip? And then it's like, sprinkle in some real estate in between. It just changes the whole feeling that I think people get for you. Yeah.
No, 100%. Because there's no doubt people track like kind. If you're a family, you're involved in whatever the community things are, and you're putting those little things up. Now, there's some people that do overwhelm from the family side.
Yes.
Probably too many. They want to post every picture they took at Christmas time. And you're like looking in there, it says 57 pictures, like,
yeah. Thanks for showing us every gift.
Pick a handful of the good ones. Just 3 or 4. Good. Yeah. But they're bonding with you through the social media. They're whether and if it's a video, great. They're bonding with you, and because they're saying, "Oh, I'm like that person. Right. Oh, that's like that looks like our Christmas, type of thing, whatever it may be." And they're bonding with you, and then I think that's part of the attraction, part of the relationship building that everyone says is important. Which I will tell you, yes, on all the 304 episodes now. That's the relationships. Someone the other day said it was very well, was your network is your net worth. That was and that's building those relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I know that I wouldn't have done as well as I did last year had I not built the relationships that I have. I mean, I still talk to someone that I went to elementary school with in Baltimore. I still talk to people that I went to Hebrew school with when I was 12 years old. I still talk to people that, I've mentioned before, my ex is in the Navy. So I talk to people from his first ship from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Last year, I think I had 3 sales that were from our time together.
Now, those people from you before you got into real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, something that is just people that have come up on Facebook now, and you just regularly you're talking to them through, commenting on what they're posting or sending them a message every so often.
I've always been the type of person that cheers people on. I've always been the type that checks in with you. If I see if somebody used to post all the time when Facebook was the way that it was before, where people would just post the random statuses where it was Sarah is. So I would check in with people and be like, hey, is everything okay? You haven't posted anything in a while.
Right.
Or happy birthday. Or if somebody's not doing well, how's your dad doing? Or just whatever. And I think just being that way is what has
letting them know you thought about them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I had some weird things happen over, not that it hasn't happened before, but my aunt passed away over the holidays.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And, so me and my mom were talking. It's her sister. My mom lives locally, so it's not like we don't go long without talking, but just some situations where I was thinking about, hey, I need to send a text to mom and see what's going on because she hadn't passed away yet, the type of thing. And no sooner did I was texting her, she was texting me.
Right.
And that when you're sometimes just this weird thing, sometimes when you're thinking about someone, you don't realize they're actually thinking about you or did maybe an hour ago or something. It's so crazy.
I mean, I'll text people even if I have a dream about somebody. I'm not the type that is just oh, so weird. I had a dream about Tracy last night. Move on with my day. I'll text and be like, so weird. You were in my dream last night. Made me want to reach out. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Just something small.
I often wonder if I have people in my dreams if something has happened, right? And that's for some reason they're being brought up that I haven't even thought of in a while.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Childhood friends. I haven't talked to this person in 30 years, but they were in my dream last night.
Yes. Or I had a dream about someone years ago. And I looked him up on Facebook. It was someone that I went to elementary school with in Baltimore. And I was like, God, that's so weird. Why is he in my head?
Right.
And then I looked him up on Facebook and friend requested him. And I was like, so weird. You were in my dream the other day. And he is now a realtor in Baltimore.
Cool.
So I was like, referral partner.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So imagine anyone listening right now is going, okay, Sarah, I hear you're contacting all these people. Tell us the makeup of, 57 or you said 57?
Yeah.
57 transactions. What is making up from truly people who maybe, I don't know, got your website or whatever, non-referral, just someone green versus those that have, been referred by whether it's the person at Baltimore or your neighbor down the street.
Yeah.
What's the makeup of that?
Gosh, I would say 90% of my business was people finding me online, reading my reviews, referrals from neighbors, referrals from friends, repeat buyers, repeat sellers into buyers.
Well, take out the people who found you online because I think that's organic. Yes. It's not a referral. But because
realtors in other states find me.
Why do you think that is?
I think when you look somebody up and I talk about my communication, they call, and when I answer, they say, oh my God, you actually answered your phone.
Yeah, that makes you interested. How many other people did you call that didn't answer their phone?
Take it.
Right.
So I would say 80 to 85 of my of my business this year was from Sphere.
Human referral.
Yes.
Yeah.
And repeat.
Yeah. All right. So you are getting some out of town stuff. Yes. My wife gets a lot of that too. Mm-hmm. What do you think is because I think some of these agents, they don't actually have content. So they're going online and looking.
Right.
Are you getting some of that? Was it Rate My Agent or something? Or
I don't know.
There's one site, my wife gets a lot from that one. I think it's Rate My Agent or something.
Remember when they had Rate My Professor? College.
Yeah, I'm not that old, so I mean, I am that old. I am that old to not remember, because we obviously didn't have cell phones, which is a very good app. I would imagine I would love to have that if I was in college today.
Right.
What do you think? So these agents are searching. Mm-hmm. What are agents, or you found, or if you've had discussions, what are they searching for? If they're looking from out of state, looking at Northeast Florida, mm-hmm. how are they coming up and finding you? What is it that you've done, that you've laid this groundwork? I know you have a great website.
Thank you.
But tell me about how do you think they're finding you?
I think because I have so many Google reviews, I think I come up higher. So when people are looking for a realtor in Nocatee or a realtor in St. John's, mm-hmm. I think I organically am closer to the top of the page because I have so many reviews. And I think if a realtor is looking in another state, they're going to do the same thing I'm going to do. Is I'm going to actually read the reviews. Like, is this someone where they just had all of their friends and family fill something out? Or is this somebody that they have true experiences in there?
Right.
So I think it helps that, like, when another agent is looking, they can see, I help military, I help first-time home buyers, I help luxury, I help everyone. And everyone says the same thing, is just how great my communication is, how they felt like they were the only person I was working with, and how I fought for them, and just everything that I did. And they're like, I'll give her a shot.
So how do you are you encouraging them to leave a review? Yeah, how do you do that? Because that is key. Whether you're a loan officer or a real estate agent or in any sales, you have to have some way of, like, obviously encouraging them to take that step after,
So in my closing basket, I have a little postcard, and on the back of it, there's a QR code. And it's like,
nice.
You were one of the best I worked with. Now leave me a review. And then if they don't, then I send, like, follow-up text a few weeks after they move in, like, hey, I hope you're settling in well, or after they sell, like, hope your next transition is going well. Would you mind leaving me some kind words on my Google page?
Right. Now, the Google is a big part of what I'm going to talk about in a minute about websites to educate everyone. Some people have heard me, I haven't talked about it in a month or so, but it's very important that they go on there, and AI is looking for these keywords.
Yes.
Google reviews, very important. Like, if it's not number one, it's number two.
Right.
If you're pumping out the Google reviews, AI is finding that.
Yes.
So, which may be, and probably is going to accelerate you into the future, because you've already built this whole platform mm-hmm. of Google reviews. That someone, hey, I'm looking for top real estate agents, whatever. Sarah's popping up. Plus, you do have the website. You own the address. What is it?
Best Realtor Jacksonville.
Best Realtor. I actually own the top Jacksonville real estate agents. I think I have. This is one. Yeah. So, because what my plan was, I have to go back. I've got a lot of blogs in there already, mm-hmm. but I was focused on just getting my website caught up with every episode. I bought these landing pages, there's 4 of them, 2 for Jacksonville, 2 for St. Augustine, mm-hmm. and started putting all the blogs from everyone on the show, because I envisioned, I wanted people to be searching.
Yeah,
and
you pop up.
I pop up, and I got a blog on you, and whatever, and then generate leads for you, the Google reviews and AI.
Okay.
So my gentleman, which I'm going to read his commercial here, if I can take 30 seconds, and then we'll talk about it. Reed Tomato. Actually, do I have it? Did I put it actually loaded on here? Yes, I did. All right, we'll take 30 seconds. Here we go. If you're great at what you do, but your content keeps getting ignored online, listen up. Reed Tomato. READ Tomato built something called the Hot Take Engine. Once a month, they'll spend an hour with you on a call. They'll put all your best stories, strongest opinions, and the answers your buyers are already searching for. Then they turn it into a full month of published, ready content that sounds like you and shows up where it matters. Google and AI results. You don't need more post, you need more signal. And that's Reed Tomato, READ Tomato.com. You can go on there and they could schedule a review. Someone I grew up with, his name's Jim Cronin. Him and his partner, Craig, they were actually just doing websites. Mm-hmm. and designing. But what they've obviously done is that, transit how to, I think we got away from websites. A lot of agents are just tagging on to their brokerage, and they just got this one little landing page.
Right.
And then they don't even really do much to the landing page to add to it, because I go on and look for bios and all this other stuff, right? They don't even keep it updated and that sort of thing. So what he found, and what this they call it hot take engine, he's transitioned recently from website to design, and he's allowing someone else to do the design, the colors, and all that other stuff. They're focused on the content behind it because of the AI search.
Right.
And if you go back to the episode I did with Jim Cronin, and everyone's listening to it, in a quality website like you have, he'll go on. So the example he gave me, which I quickly gave the analysis, it's like our subdivisions. In Southwest Michigan, he has a customer they call thelakelife.com. If you go to thelakelife.com, it's a brokerage in Southwest Michigan. All these lakes, right? There, every lake is different.
Right.
Type of fish. Can you have a boat on it? Can you water ski? Can you whatever? And then and around those lakes, I'm sure there's different levels of homes as well.
Right.
Much like our subdivisions or planned urban developments here in Northeast Florida.
That.
So they've got about 30 different lakes on there. And what they do every month is they are feeding a market report around that lake. So you have very current numbers. They're putting a blog behind those, each individual thing. So when someone is searching to buy a lake home in Southwest Michigan, boom, on AI, they're coming up as the source.
Right, number one.
Yeah, because AI is looking for what is the most, current and obviously on the ground. Don't think because some big corporation like Zillow owns it. They don't. They're too far away, and AI knows that. But if you're blogging, and you're consistently putting information, you're going to start showing up on those AI searches.
Right.
And for those who don't know, when you go on Google right now and you put in, I want to live in St. Johns County, Florida, they're going to come up, and the first thing is AI is going to have some stuff, and then right after their thing is a little footnote of where they got that information. Yes. And if you look, a lot of them are bloggers. So that's actually what he's doing. So he could go behind your website, and after we realize he's pretty much like doing a podcast, but more direct with the questions.
Right.
He records it, but then we get the transcripts, and then you have AI create these blogs, and with all the links and everything you need. So when someone's searching AI, it's finding that blog.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that's where we're going. I think that's where they're finding you. And one thing he told me is this is his business, is the Google review is,
Yeah, I also, to your point, a lot of realtors are not doing websites, or they do like their basic landing page or the one that their CRM provides them. But I had a custom website made, and I mean, I like that it looks different.
Yeah. Well, you're going in, I know you have the best agents there. You also have named it the Sarah Schwartz. So you put multiple names on it, so people, you can put that tag wherever you want, or depending on how people are searching as well. But I think AI has now opened the door to the website can actually be a force out there that it was 20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. When people are searching for if you're putting regular information out there. Jim does that. Can you do that yourself? Of course you could. I mean, I could show you easily how to use AI to write really good blogs. I mean, and it gets better and better every time that you do it.
Yeah.
And then there's a certain way you should write them, and you should have certain links in there and everything. And I've got it set now. If you look at the most recent blogs I've done versus a blog I did 6 months ago, there's how it's structured and everything.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah. Like I was like, who reads blogs, right?
Everybody.
AI reads blogs.
And then gives the general public little snippets.
Yes, exactly.
If you want more info, click this link.
Well, the stats out now, I mean, I think everyone, if they think about the last Google searches they've done, they've just read what Gemini said and never even clicked on a link.
Right. Why do you have to?
Yeah. Now we got to bring us back in, because I really want to share with everyone what you're doing. Let's talk pretty much since the last time you were on, which is it's been almost not quite 3 years. So you've developed, So you've, at that time, I think you had just changed brokerages at that time.
Yeah.
From KW, I think was your original. You originally at KW, right?
I was at Keller for about 6 months.
Yes. I think you had just made the transition at that time. I think that was the one. But anyway. The bottom line is this. You have been with several of the brand names. of the brokerages. So let's talk about some of the audience out there who, if they're getting started, or maybe they're at a brokerage and they're like, am I getting all that I can get out of a brokerage? Because I personally feel for majority of agents, the brokerage can make or break you if you're not getting the coaching. Now, some people that can be successful no matter where they go. We know that. But there's a good percentage also that can get with a good broker and really move their career faster.
Yes. I agree. I think for me, I've taken something from all of the brokerages that I've been at, and I would say there's 2 brokers that really stood out and helped me a lot. And I think I've learned so much over the last almost 7 years, to where I was at a cloud-based brokerage and I stayed for a while, a good amount of time, and then realized maybe that's not for me. Like, I think people sometimes are scared to leave a brokerage because, oh, what are the other agents going to think? Or what's my cousin's friend's nephew going to think? And it's like, every broker will tell you, nobody works with you because of what brokerage you're at. So it truly is what you're getting from it. And I like to tell people, would you stay in a relationship with somebody if it was just meh? Or like, if you didn't see it going to the next level, why would you stay? And it's the same thing, in my opinion, at a brokerage. If you don't feel like they're helping you or just making you go where you want to go, find what will. And sure, it might not be the first stop, and you might love something at one and then not at the other, and you just have to do what's best for you. And at the end of the day, people shouldn't care where you're at, or if you do switch. If anything, they're going to be like, tell me what you didn't love about this one and what you think you'll love about this one, or what did you love about this and not this, because something that I didn't love, somebody else might.
Exactly. There's some people who need, and kind of give a little bit of a sports analogy here. They need a little more discipline in their life. People, oh, discipline. No, we're not talking about someone physically smacking you on the butt or what. That's not what we're talking. So, you need some structure.
Yes.
That's discipline. You need someone who's going to say, hey, why weren't you here at 9 o'clock this morning?
Right.
Some people need that.
Or what are you doing with this contract?
I think some people may disagree with me, but people listen to the show regularly. I mean, I'm a Bobby Knight. I like Tom Coughlin. Bobby Knight rubbed some people the wrong way. There's others that would die for Bobby Knight.
Right.
You know, and how he was. Very, very structured. And I love his statement. Best motivation is, butt on the bench, type, he's going to tell you what you need to hear.
Right.
He's not where, and he's hopefully you're going to like him because he actually helped you get better, made your life, whatever it is in whatever you're doing in life. And I think Tom Coughlin was the same way. Tom Coughlin felt in his world a very structured environment. And after some players figured it out, oh, you know what? If we have this structure, we win.
Right.
Whoa. Because everyone loves to take the low road, right? Oh, footloose and fancy free. But if you don't win, then you go, but I got to do that discipline thing, Versus So I think it's the same way with the brokers. Not that a broker needs to be a Tom Coughlin or Bobby Knight, but there's some people that can thrive in that atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, like another sports analogy, some people love Coach K. I'm not a Coach K fan. I'm more of a Roy Williams fan.
Right.
So I think it just depends on like what works best for you. Like some people are looking for different things. I'm at the point in my career where I don't want to have a high split. And sure, I know brokerages can truly give you so much technology and all of the things, but then I could go somewhere else and maybe not pay as much, still have really great broker support, still have great technology. Sure, it might not be a proprietary system and things that other brokerages offer.
Right.
But will I use that? And that's what it really came down to. So I think that some people need certain things and some people don't. And I think there's a fit for everyone, and it's just about finding what works best for you.
All right, so I got 2 questions out of that. The first one, what did you feel was important to you?
I thought you were going to say, why don't I like Coach K?
Well, we could get into that. No. Well, Coach K and Bobby Knight coached together at Army. Yes. But I think Coach K has a different intimidation factor where Bobby Knight's physically out there, but Coach K gets mad too.
I've seen it. Definitely a Roy Williams volume.
But Coach K, no one would put
blue.
Coach K and Bobby Knight in and call them similar coaches.
Right. But it worked for some people.
They do their thing and got the same things accomplished.
Yeah. Okay, so what was your question?
All right. So you're evaluating brokerage, and you've done it numerous times. So there's been some good things that you've done, but I think you hit on a point there. You have to realize what you need in your business, not what other agents are doing. What did you break down here in the recent move to Realty One Group Elevate with Tanya? What was it that you broke down that you needed, that you felt obviously they were going to connect and do, they're doing business the way you felt you need to do business?
So honestly, I love Tanya. She and I did a deal together, I think it was 5 years ago. It was horrible. Not because of her. Her seller was very challenging, and it just made it a very interesting transaction. But we stayed in touch, and being at the cloud-based brokerage that I was at, I will say the broker support was not great. And recently, so I think when you do 57 transactions in a year, maybe you need help with 10%. And it's things that you're like, who would come up with this? And I got to a point where I wasn't getting the support from my broker, and I would reach out to Tanya and another local broker, and I would be like, I'm so sorry to bother you. However, here we are. Here's my problem. What do I do? What do you recommend? Or like, this came up. Is my seller in the wrong? Or is my buyer in the wrong? And she would be like, no. Or she would give me advice. And that was what I was really missing. So the broker support is there. I missed going into an office. So it's nice that the office is 15 minutes from my house. I like that they are an international brand. So that was important to me to stick with that. So it's like at the last brokerage I was with, it was international. The one before that, it was international. And I like the idea of that, to get referrals from other agents. Mm-hmm. Not to say I get tons, but the opportunity
one or two
is
a
there.
year is good. Yeah, that's great.
Or if I'm sending out a referral, I want to make sure that, it's someone reputable and that they're not just, I don't know, it's a mindset. So
if I'm hearing you correctly, you felt you needed a broker who really knows you.
Not knows the business.
You have confidence that they know the business. Versus, now if I heard correctly, I know that the cloud brokerage you were working with, they have whatever handful of brokers that cover the state of Florida, and they got phone time. If they answer, right, how they actually got promoted to that level, and maybe they don't get paid that much, so maybe that's why they don't answer the phone all the time. But there's a level of accountability, and obviously Tanya sees your number coming up, she's answering it because she knows you're calling, you got something important. It might not be important to Tanya, but it's important to you, so she's going to answer it just because that is.
Yeah.
But also, I think there is a level, again, everyone's different. Right. I would personally want that myself. Mm-hmm. You may want the call center broker. I don't know.
Right. And I also think the culture is what I was looking for. I think that if I had a big team and, 5 to 10 agents, and I had my own culture within the team, it would be different. But I don't have that. So I wanted an office with culture, with events, with camaraderie. And I don't feel like I had that before.
Right. Now, you said you picked up a couple things from some other brokers.
Yes.
Over 7 years. What are those? What's a couple things that you picked up from, whether you want to name the other broker or not, give them credit, that's up to you. But obviously you've learned some things that resonated with you that you still implement in your business in one way, shape, or form today. So what are a couple of those things?
I mean, I put it on my $100 million post. I think Josh and Corey were two of the greatest.
Josh Cohen. Been on the show. Corey's been on the show a few times. Yeah.
They both helped me so much. Just like helping with mold me, helping with making me grow. I mean, I went to Engel & Volkers when I was a baby agent, like 1 year in the business, and he took me, he helped show me like luxury. He helped saying that like, everything is luxury, and just really helping me grow. And
so it's a service, not a price point?
Service, not a
I
price
disagree.
point.
I disagree with you guys.
So, and this is an argument, that specifically is an argument that I've had with a lot of people. Not an argument, but a little debate. I've spoken with some realtors, or I've gone to events where there are realtors who will say like, ugh, I don't work with anyone that is under this price point. To me, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that is.
So I completely agree that
you may not market to that price point.
Right, but you should help everyone.
Right.
And you don't know who people know, and why would you want to make someone feel less than? So that's why it's not
okay.
Just a price
Here's
point,
my psychology.
it's a service.
My psychology part comes in. Why would you say something like that to anyone?
Correct.
You may have so much business at the $1 million that you're like, hey, or over, then when someone at 300,000, you go, okay, no problem, and you just refer them to an assistant agent or something like that. But why would you say something in public to somebody? I don't handle anyone under a certain price. Like, that's stupid.
It's gross to me.
Yeah.
So I love helping people. So yes, it's not a price point. It is a service. And then Josh, he's so great. I mean, he would do monthly coaching with you and be like, look at your business. He would look at your business with you and be like, this is what we can do to get you to the next level. What are you doing with this? What are you doing with this? How are you doing this? And I can't say enough good things about him.
Right. Let's talk about a broker like that. Corey's like that too, right? They're looking, and agents shouldn't fear that. I mean, assuming you want to make a living. I mean, obviously we know there's some agents that are good doing half a dozen deals a year. Maybe their spouse does really well, so they're just kind of tinkering in the business. But if you're trying to grow, do bigger, better, more, you need sitting down in. If they're willing to say, hey, you're doing really great, but I think we could improve here. Let me help you.
Yeah.
Why would you not take advantage of that?
And I mean, Josh and I would sit down once a month, and bless him, he would be like, Sarah, you should do this. And I'd be like, nah, I'm not doing that. And he's like, great. How about this? I'm like, I'd think about it. Mm-hmm. So, and he would work with me. So it wasn't like just a standard thing where it was like every agent needs to do X, Y, Z. It was like, this is for you. This is what you should do. And let's help you get to where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're making me think of a conversation my wife and I had because a broker that she's with told her to do something, and I'm going to follow up on her to see if she's doing it, or maybe I need to help her because it had to do with marketing, basically farming a particular neighborhood, which I don't think enough agents do. Mm-hmm. Which farming a neighborhood. This is a great reel right here. Consistently, regularly. Are you doing anything like that? Is that? Or you laugh, so I assume you're not. Your neighborhood. Yeah. So, you own your neighbor. You want everyone in your neighborhood. Sarah's the queen of real estate in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I think everybody. So in my neighborhood, there's 100 homes, and I would say at least 97 of them know who I am, and that's because we do so much. So like, not only did I drop off hot chocolate bombs to all of my clients, we dropped off hot chocolate bombs to every house in our neighborhood. And it had a little card in it that was like, Happy New Year. And we also planned it so that it was on the day that was cold, since the weather here is all over the place.
On the beach on Saturday. Today we had the seat heaters on.
Yeah, it's so crazy. So we waited until it was cold outside. I think it was like December 30th. And we just went to the end of the block and dropped off hot chocolate bombs at every single house. And it had my picture on it. So it was a postcard with my picture and saying like, Happy New Year from your neighborhood realtor or something. And then on the back it was like, referrals are a girl's best friend, because that's what I say to everyone.
Right.
And so many people texted me just
say thanks.
Thank you so much. Like, that was so nice of you. And then, we hosted the neighborhood Friendsgiving. My husband hosts a men's poker night once a month. That's fun. I don't host, but not every month. So I started a neighborhood book club for the women, and we do that once a month. We were doing driveway things where we had all of because it was new construction, so we would do like a neighborhood get together so that everybody could meet each other. So we did that a few times a year, and it was a potluck, and people would come and get to know each other. So we've done a lot in the neighborhood just to make ourselves known. Like if something's going on or somebody has an issue, maybe there's a food train, we don't do things because we want business, though it can turn out that way.
Well, as we've talked many times, being a real estate agent is a 24/7, 365 situation. And so your business has to be, one, if you don't like being friends with people, okay, it's going to be a little bit harder.
Right.
That's a fringe benefit.
Yeah.
The collateral benefit is they know you're a real estate agent now, and hopefully because you're friends, they call you.
And I don't bring it up. So that's one thing that
because it's normally going to come up because they don't know you. Well, what do you do, Sarah?
Right, I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
Or if they're friends with me on Facebook, they see stuff. But I'm not the person that I don't wear like my swag to anything neighborhood related. I don't bring stuff with me to be like, I'm a realtor if you know anyone. Here's my card. Here's this. I just go as myself, and I go with my crazy kids and my husband. And, if it comes up, it comes up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's the way I like it.
How long you been in the hood now?
A little over 2 years.
I got to make sure I got your right address because I can't remember if you're one of the cards. You've been getting my cards recently?
Yes.
Okay, so they are going the right address. 100 houses, very easy to manage.
Right. We're going to move across
the fact that you
next.
could do a drop by for 100, that's most people say, okay, that's attainable. And now you've only been there 2.5 years. I mean, ballpark, how many deals do you think you've got in that neighborhood?
Last year I did over $10 million from
just that in the neighborhood.
Referrals from people in my neighborhood.
Wow, that's awesome. Out of 100 homes.
Yeah.
So that had to be, I would imagine you're not, or I don't even know what the price point of your homes, but that's more than 10 deals.
Know.
That's
yes,
more than 10 deals.
More than 10 deals.
More than 10 deals.
So in my neighborhood, I sold 2 or 3 houses, and then they bought, and then somebody else referred, I think 3 people to me, and then 2 people, they were listed, their previous homes were listed. They couldn't buy in my neighborhood until they sold.
All right.
They were listed with another agent for like 8 or 9 months.
So if everyone wanted to be really mathematical about it, you have 100 families.
Yeah.
You probably, it sounds like about 5 or 6 gave you deals because some people had multiple deals. They were buying and selling or referred you someone out. So out of 100 families, 5 or 6 of them referred you business, and some of it multiple business.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's a huge percentage, and that's owning it. Yeah. I mean, from what you're saying. So what I was saying is a lot of people live in larger neighborhoods. Like, oh, I couldn't do that in my neighborhood because it's 800.
Focus on one street.
Focus on one street. There's data out there that will tell you, who's moved into the neighborhood recently. Whatever I think, which obviously happened. It sounds like in your neighborhood, someone moved in, and they really love their neighborhood, and they sold their neighborhood to their friends or family to move into the neighborhood as well. And obviously, you helped with the transaction.
Or like in our neighborhood, it was new. It is newer, but so it's new construction. They're not building anymore. But like, so 2 people, their brother wanted to live near them. So it's like a mom and then 2 sisters on one street.
Yes.
And they're like, we want our brother to live here. So it's like, okay, great. Let's get him down the other street in another neighborhood. And then he just referred people to me that just closed last week.
Yeah. They're trying. So, you could take a different angle and say, well, I don't want to service 800 people, but I can handle 100 or 200. Well, there's AI and the data that you guys have now that's out there can narrow down. Maybe you just want to, hey, I want to just focus on the veterans because I'm a veteran and I want to work with other veterans in the neighborhood. You can go and find everyone who has a VA loan in that neighborhood.
Exactly.
And drop cocoa bombs off to them. You know what I'm saying? But there's so much data out there, but you're the perfect case, you're a poster child for farming the neighborhood. I mean, that you did 36, just short of 36 million, and sounds like almost 30% of your business came from people that live within a mile of your house. Yeah.
I mean, I would say out of the 100 homes, at least 40 are from New York and New Jersey. So they have people that are moving here.
Only that?
It's probably more. I'm just trying to be nice. It's probably 50%. Yeah, I mean, I would say 70%, they're all transplants. So it's people that are like, oh, we just moved here. I'm going to get my mom to move here next. I'm going to get my cousin to move here. I'm going to get my sister to move here. Can you help them? I had one person reach out to me last year, and she said, hey, we were in this one Facebook group together, and then our kids actually go to daycare together. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. And she was like, my friends want to move here. Would you mind if I gave them your number? And I was like, I would love that. So, and then they're like, oh, we're going to try and get our parents to move here next.
Right.
So it's like having this relationship.
All right, so
with people.
so someone listening right now, here's some basics. I'm going to try to draw it out of you, and you can
Talk to everyone.
We'll talk to everyone. So you drop off, which I imagine some of the people you didn't know out of the 100 houses, right?
Yeah.
You drop off, but you have your QR code. Many people texted you.
Yeah.
So now you have their number. Make sure you, obviously hopefully if you didn't have the number in there, you said, oh, but I'm sorry, who is this? Oh, this is so-and-so at 123, whatever.
Right.
Oh, great. Yeah, let me get let me make sure you're in my phone. Because, I mean, the neighbors aren't going to be bashful about saying, oh, yeah, I'm so-so. Yeah, make sure I'm in your phone. They want to be in, yeah.
That's why they texted me.
But in the QR code, did it just go to text or did it actually send them to a landing page?
It went to my Google business page so they could see my reviews.
Okay.
So it's like if you want to send someone so it was like referrals are a girl's best friend with my QR code. So it's like if you want to be comfortable sending someone to me, look at all of my reviews.
So now you're leading them and introducing this. The people who knew you probably didn't do the QR code. They probably just texted you.
Yeah.
But the people who didn't know, I wonder how many people actually hit that QR code.
I know.
If we had 10 people do it, that's a win.
Right.
Right? So now because they didn't know you, people who know you, they don't have to look at your reviews. They're already either like you or don't like you, right? Hopefully they all like you. But what a plan. Now, do you do something? You're having these certain events. I imagine you're trying to get them on your new newsletter. It's coming out.
No, I will post on my story, if you want to be added to my newsletter, drop your email address here. So if they do, I don't just put it. I should probably put people on it. But
right.
Maybe I'll post that in the Facebook group today. Do you want to be on my newsletter?
Well, I think the true test of the newsletter is if someone really is not interested in you and going to do any business with you, they are going to unsubscribe, which is great. Now you know who not to even talk to or spend any time with.
Did you unsubscribe?
There's others who will receive your newsletter and go, I know who Sarah is, but I don't know anyone looking to buy or sell, and I'm not really interested in knowing what's selling in the neighborhood, and they just delete your email that month.
Right, or they look at the events.
Right.
And they're like, especially because so many aren't from here, so they're like, oh, I didn't know about that.
There's so many neighborhoods that are so fresh right now. You bring up a good point. If you go out and you become the community newsletter. You go and post what's going on. Because I guarantee you these HOAs and some of these CDDs are so young, they're not doing any of that.
Right.
Or some of these CDDs, there's money budgeted and there's people actually supposed to be putting that information out, but they're really bad at it.
Right.
And you become the person who knows where the information is, and now you become the resource. Now they're opening your email because there might be something in there they're interested in.
Right. Or this morning I posted in 4 different groups I'm in Palmcrest in Nocatee, which is part of Seabrook in Nocatee. So in Seabrook, there's multiple neighborhoods, but then they have a few big pages for all of the neighborhoods. So I was like, morning, everyone. Just a reminder, make sure you file for homestead if you bought last year. And it's nobody else has posted that. And then you have so many people that are like, I didn't know I was supposed to file for homestead. So it's just a little friendly reminder.
Well, yeah, because there are some agents obviously are going back and looking through their book and going, hey, they were looking in those last, make sure if you bought, as long as you bought in 25, you got till March, right, to do it. So that are putting that information. There are so many agents, as in salespeople in general, that are lazy. They're not sharing that information to make sure you're going to apply. So you might as well be the one, even if it wasn't your customer.
Right.
Now
I don't want anyone to be in a position where they're like, oh my God, my taxes skyrocketed. I didn't know this was going to happen.
Then they start bitching about the neighborhood, and that's the neighborhood you live in, and
It's not me.
Yeah. Great way to kind of someone who may have used another agent, didn't know you before, but now they're in the neighborhood. Now you give them information and say, I live in the neighborhood, and I just want to let everyone of my neighbors know, homestead, because I'm in real estate.
Right.
Now they're like, oh, well, we should use Sarah because she's our neighbor.
And she's helping us.
And she's helping you.
And she doesn't owe us anything.
Exactly. How important do you think, talk about, if you were asked to do a training on this, because I think there's not enough agents, and especially young. I think Leah Mieske, I have to get her back on and get an update from her too. I remember when I had her on, I don't think it had been a year yet that she was really farming her neighborhood. I remember talking to her about it, and she said it took about 6 months before she started to get some traction on there, and I wonder where that's developed. But the importance of getting started in that as soon as possible, because it might take 6-8 months or so before someone eventually refers you something.
Right. And then you also, I think there's 2 or 3 other realtors that live in my neighborhood, but they're not doing what I'm doing.
Right.
So it's like, if you're not putting in the effort, somebody else might, or nobody will.
Well, take 5 minutes and look around. You'll probably realize no one else is doing anything.
Right.
So you might as well be that person.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shy.
Service.
And in some of these older neighborhoods as well, we've been in our neighborhood for 16 years now. There's been so much turnover.
Right.
This is a transient area. People are moved in and out, and job for whatever jobs. Or obviously, we know when rates were really low, people were moving from neighborhood to neighborhood. So all the original people that were in there, 15 years ago, there's really only a handful left.
I know. We joke about a Nocatee shuffle.
Yeah.
Because there's like so many neighborhoods in Nocatee, so many people, you're like, oh, where did you move from? And they're like, oh, just down the street in Freedom Landing, or, oh, I was in Coastal Oaks. And you're like, oh, okay.
And then there's people that weren't living in Nocatee.
Yeah.
That their friends moved in there, like, oh, I want to move to Nocatee.
Yes.
And there's people that moved into Nocatee, like, I don't like this. And they moved out of Nocatee to somewhere else in St. Johns County. Yeah. Yeah, that's all over. All right, let's go to our trending questions here. This is a classic, but everyone has their opinion on it. What's the Sarah Schwartz opinion on, is now a good time to buy or sell in Northeast Florida?
Absolutely. I think that the market, I would say in the last few weeks, I'm sure you've seen it, it has just picked up. So you have people that, the rates are starting to go down. I think I got an email this morning that they're in the 5s. And why not? So you have people that want to move here. You have people that want to move away. You can always date the rate, marry the house. So yes, I do think it's always a good time. I think that there are still people buying and there's still people selling, and there are deals that are there to be made.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, we are starting to see, just starting to edge into that 5 for the right client, right? Obviously credit and how much you have down and all that all has factors in there. The wind could blow a different direction and you're back to 6, without paying any points, right? I always want a preference. Everyone says, I can get you a 5% rate depending on how many points you want to buy any day of the week, but without having to pay extra, which I don't recommend, because I just really think, people they're joking online, or not joking online. The news thinks it's serious because they don't understand our president. Our president's playing games with their head, and they're going after the Fed chair, because I do think there's been some misappropriation of funds in their rehab. So he's taking that as an advantage of saying he's putting pressure on the Fed. Now, Fed fund rate doesn't directly correlate to mortgage rates and so forth, but he's doing everything he can to play this psychological game that's going on. The 10% on the credit cards. Does he expect the credit card companies to cap their stuff at 10%? No, but he's now having them call him, and he's having conversations going, dude, we need to ease the pressure off everybody because credit card debt's going up crazy as well, which leads into the reasons why some people sell, because they do have a lot of equity in their home. Like, well, we can sell, we can pay off the credit card debt and just kind of start over again. Relieve that pressure. No, that's a whole nother thing. But buyer's market, seller market.
I would say it's a balance, and it just depends.
You think it
depends on where you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a listing in Julington Creek Plantation that within the first weekend we had multiple offers. I have a listing in my neighborhood that it's been on for 80 days, and it's like, well, that sucks. But then we're also competing against new construction.
Yeah.
And then in new construction, you can get quite the deal right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, in a sense, it's a buyer's market for that, but then you have some neighborhoods or parts of town where there's no inventory, and it goes like that.
Yeah, well, the address, right? It's, that location, that whole thing. How will interest rates in 2026 affect my buying power in home affordability?
I mean, if the rates keep going down, it's going to be great. But at the same time, when the rates go down, the prices go up. So
they could. That's what people don't realize. And that's why I think it's very important to get out there. You see, and I know you've probably had customers like this. Well, I want to wait a little bit because I want to get a little bit more for my house. It's like, well, okay, well, you're going to get a little bit more, but so is the guy that you want to buy from.
Yes, and I don't think people get that.
Yeah, they don't.
They're like, oh, I don't want to buy at the top of the market, but I want to sell at the top of the market. But I don't want to buy at the top of the market. And you're just kind of like,
when does that?
You can't have both. If you want to sell for the most amount, but you don't want to buy for the most amount, then you're not going to be buying and selling at the same
unless
time.
You're moving to a totally different region who maybe their market's completely different.
Right. I mean, I have 2 buyers that are going to be moving here from New York, And both of them are like, we have to find a house there first because we're going to have multiple offers. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, you don't understand. We're going to have multiple offers on our house and it'll probably go for $100,000 over asking. And I'm like, okay, guys. And then one of them listed and he's like, we got 8 offers. We're at 90,000 over asking. I'm like, well, it's not 100 like you said.
Well, good for them. They must have a really great location because, as we know, the population of New York is dropping while ours is increasing. Yeah.
Same as California. Just
yeah.
Crazy.
I have seen some horror stories on fuel prices out there and what they've done to the refineries. And I really think it's even going to increase. Everyone from the north, actually the 2 other states that are really hurting because California's put such restrictions that one company closed their refinery. Another one, I think closed the refinery and moved out to Texas. And they're predicting $8 to $10 a gallon, but Arizona and Nevada, that's where they get their fuel from, is those refineries in California, and now they've closed. So it's those 2 states are going to be hurting as well as far as fuel prices and the cost of living.
Well, no one likes to hear it, but we're open. So
yes,
come on
right.
down.
Florida's open. Should sellers price their home above or below market value to sell fastest in today's market?
Below.
Yes.
Easy answer.
Easy answer. Yeah, that's AI created that question, but I think it creates a great topic. What is your strategy right now when you're going out on that listing appointment? And I think sometimes you feel whether you got like the house in Julian Creek, you got this unique house, unique address.
Right.
There's, it's at the right price point that there's enough people are going to make multiples, but there's others in that new construction neighborhood, right? Or that near new construction subdivision. You're like, ooh, this is what you're competing against.
Right.
What's some of the conversations you're having?
I think I like to do research before going in. So just showing like, this is where you live. This is how many houses are currently on the market. This is what is different about your house. But to a buyer, you're all the same. Like, sure, you have a pool and they don't, but you don't have a hot tub and they have a separate hot tub, or they have this, or whatever.
Or they're closer to the grocery store or the school and you're not.
The craziest thing, I think in this market, buyers are pickier, which is great because, this is a big investment. So sellers just have to realize, like, putting their head in the buyer's shoes. So, like, what am I going to be looking for when I'm buying? And kind of, like, switching your mindset. So I just remind people, like, would you buy your house for this amount? Like, I get that this is what you want, but would you buy it? Knowing that these are the rates, would you still move forward? So I like to get like an estimate.
Put them in the buyer's shoes. It sounds like you're putting in the buyer's shoes, which is brilliant.
Right.
Evaluate the other homes in the area and your home versus that. Which one would you go for?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, in Nocatee specifically, you have so many unique areas. So it's like, do you want to live in Seabrook, Coastal Oaks, or 20 Mile? And those are like the 3, I think, biggest ones where people are like, oh, well, I want to go to the new school, or, oh, I want this gated neighborhood, or, oh, I just love 20 Mile. So it's like figuring out and then kind of saying, like, this is your competition. Sure, it's not right here, but somebody might want this. So just doing that, and then go as far as pricing, it's some people. I've gotten appraisers to come out and do an appraisal before listing, and I'm like, if we can't come to terms. And even with that, some sellers are like, I don't care, I want to list higher. And it's like, all right, well, I guess your house will just sit, and then in 6 months you'll be like, why isn't my house selling?
You have a mixed bag out in, well, you have a mixed bag everywhere, but a lot of those buyers out in Nocatee, would you say more than 50% that was actually their first home?
No.
Minimum second.
Maybe.
Yeah. And they bought during one of the post-COVID COVID period hot market. So they don't understand that COVID doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
The COVID market doesn't.
Unfortunately.
And things have settled down. And the interest rates are twice as high.
Right.
So people's buying power. I think there's a disconnect in a generation of money.
Yes.
And that everyone doesn't make the money that a lot of buyers out in Nocatee make. They don't realize they're actually in the top 5%, if not 1% of income. Mm-hmm. That there's 90-something other percent of people that don't make as much money as they, and that So you have a limited thing. Now, when the interest rates double, you just
eliminated everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Over that time period. And there was always a saying, I've said it on the show before, because I think there's a lot of buyers out there in this category, not a lot of sellers out there. I wouldn't say, there's a number of sellers. I wouldn't say a lot, a number of sellers. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. They think they have this in their mind, what they need to make out of their home. You're coming in with reality.
Yes.
They're trying to be a hog, and you're trying to say, no, just, be a pig and
burst your bubble.
This is what your house is really worth.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm sure the biggest question is, how fast do you want to sell?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the other part. It's like, do you want to sell fast? Do you want to test? Some people are like, I just want to test the market. And it's like, what are you testing it for? Do you want to sell or do you not want to sell?
Yeah. What do you need to get to actually get your butt out of the house?
Right. So, I mean, I've definitely it can be so tricky sometimes as a listing agent because you have to be, at least I try to be sensitive about people's feelings. Because it's like if you've lived in a house for 10 years or however long, it's an emotional decision. And sometimes you don't see your house the way that other people see your house. So I went to a listing appointment yesterday and I pointed out a bunch of stuff that needed to be changed. And he's like, I didn't even notice that. I'm like, of course you didn't. You live here. And he's like, what do you mean this is like this? And I'm like, I didn't just do it. This is what I'm seeing.
Right.
And I think some people, they don't notice smells in their houses. They don't notice, I don't know, chipped paint or the vents that have the black on it or their fans that have a
layer of dust on the top.
Cake dust. And it's I'm sorry it's annoying that I'm telling you to do all of these things, but if you were to walk into a house and see the layer of dust or,
you might question how they took care of the house.
Or a smell. And you're just like, have they ever cleaned? Have they ever done this? Have they ever done this? I'm not interested. What else is going to come up in the inspection?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that leads into this next question. How do you prepare a home? Well, it says, I'll read it out. How do I prepare my home for sale to attract top dollar in 26? Let's narrow that down to Nocatee. Let's talk about, because you do have some 20 miles, that's very desirable neighborhood there. You still got new construction going on. You have an internal competition because there's a good amount of inventory. I don't know what the number is today. You probably know how many houses are for sale going on out there.
Right.
But if you want to sell your house in Nocatee, what's some of the ABC 1, 2, 3 that has to be done?
If I see a boob light in your house, I'm going to lose my mind.
A what?
A boob light.
What's a boob light?
What?
What?
It's the house. You can. It's a term. You can Google it. If you Google it, it'll come up.
Boob
so
light.
The house.
I'm going to cut this out as a reel. What is a boob light?
So it's the light, and then it has the thing right there. So it's the dome, and then it has the piece.
Or you mean a hanging light you might have over your kitchen table?
It's just attached to the ceiling. Some builders do it.
Where then the screw thing is on the bottom to hold the whole glass bulb up there.
Yes,
that's a boob light.
It's a boob light. It's
okay, all right. I see the all right.
A professional term. So I think that when a buyer is walking into a house, if they see a boob light or just a chandelier that you would see in an apartment,
right?
Then they're like, why am I spending, X amount for this? So,
because now, am I right? From what and then correct me if I'm wrong, I don't study it all the time, but there's a lot of people who bought their home for some well below $1 million that now think their home is worth $1 million something.
Yes.
And when you cross that, go to that seventh digit, it's a different expectation.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not doing anything to your house to make it stand out and show, not that you have to prove anything, but if you're showing, I added this wallpaper, I changed out this light fixture, I added this woodwork. I mean, it makes such a difference where, why would I choose your house versus going to new construction when you did the work? That's what people want. They don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
They don't want to change the light fixture. I did a showing last week and the buyer was like, oh my God, I love this house. He's like, this light fixture makes the room. And I was like, oh, unfortunately in the private remarks, it says that that doesn't stay with the house and they're taking it. And he was just like, why can't they just buy a new one? I was like,
well, yeah, put that in there. I remember in Ryan Serhant had a multi-million-dollar deal, and it was all hung up over a throw blanket on the that the buyer wanted it. It was just some fetish thing.
Right.
But obviously, you could ask, and who knows? You with AI today, take a picture of it and say, "Hey, where can I buy this lamp?"
That's expensive.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're not doing those things to make it stand out a little bit more, they're just going to move on to the next house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people will do turf now in their backyard. So if you're looking at a house with turf and then one with St. Augustine grass, you're going to be like, well, that's amazing. This is work I don't have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they did their outdoor kitchen or even pre-plumbed it for an outdoor kitchen. I mean, there's so many little things that make your house more desirable than the next.
Right. So, but in the Nocatee area, it's a lot of these little things become, because it's not a budget thing.
Right.
If they are looking at $1 million price point, now it's like, okay, do I pay 1.1 or I pay 9? I can flex all over. Which house is going to put me on the best street, and so forth. There's a lot of options there because a lot of those homes have been built in the last half a dozen years or more.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Will Northeast Florida market remain the seller's market, or is it shift? Well, actually, I don't know why. Why, for some reason, the AI thinks that we're in a low inventory thing. They don't think that. Although, what do you feel about the inventory? Yeah, what do you feel about the inventory right now?
I think that certain homes that are desirable for people, it is low inventory. I had a doctor that I was working with for years, and they had such a specific want that, and it wasn't just to one neighborhood. It was like they wanted a specific thing in either Queens Harbor, Jack's Golf.
If they want to be on the water or something?
No, Deerwood, Deer Creek, and it was just updated. 4 bedrooms with an office, good sized backyard, and it was impossible to find.
Find that combination.
Yeah, so it's like, you know,
for sale. Not necessarily that they're not out there,
sale.
but that's for sale.
So, and then when one does come up, it just goes like that. So it's like finding the specific thing that people want, or if somebody wants a historic house and it has to have XYZ. Like I had a newer construction house in Avondale, and so many people are like, oh, you know, I wish it was 100 years old. And I'm like, but it's new. Well, I mean, newer. And like, yeah. So depending on what the person wants, there could be tons of inventory like in Nocatee, or it could be cherry picking.
Right. Right. This is an interesting question because I think we get this. We run in this situation often, especially with first-time home buyers. It says, how can agents add real value in a market where many buyers consider going without one? Which, I mean, I assume the question is going without, continue renting. What do you say to someone like that?
I try to have a very honest conversation with my customers at the very beginning. Can you afford to buy a house? Like, what does that look like for you? What's more important to you? Price of the house or your monthly payment? And then just basically figuring out, do you have money for closing costs? Do you have money to do any upgrades that you want? And if they don't, now might not be the time to buy. And I think just having that honest and open line of communication and figuring out what is truly important to them not only makes them trust you more, but it also helps them understand the full picture. Like, they might not be thinking taxes, HOA, and everything else. They're like, oh, well, I looked on Zillow and it says that my payment would only be $900 or only $1,500. And it's like, but did you put in the taxes? Because that adds quite a bit.
And then the insurance.
Like, right.
And do you have 20% down?
Right. And then it changes everything. They're like, oh, I didn't realize that. Or what about your closing costs?
Well, I think people out there that are, I think there is a group out there that is making the income. They may not have the savings, but there are so many programs. And I think one of the underutilized programs out there is renovation. Right. But again, there's some people just don't see that vision, or obviously, have a fear of, because they've never done that before and gone through that situation of, obviously you buy a house and, renovate it to what you want, whether it's adding a room or, just, sprucing it up, bringing it up the level or whatever. So what neighborhood in Jackson, I'm going to actually just narrow it down to Nocatee because we're kind of focused on that. What neighborhoods in Ponte Vedra and Nocatee have the best growth potential in 26, you think?
Ooh, I think Marsh Landing is a great one. I think in Nocatee, the Seabrook area is great. Coastal Oaks, 20 Mile, I think that they're going to continue to see people moving here that want those areas. I think in 20 Mile specific. So I think Nocatee as a whole, a lot of people decide where they want to live based on when the houses were built and the age of their kids. So, like, if you have a 15-year-old, most likely you're not going to want to move to a neighborhood that was just built a year ago because you're going to think, oh, they're mainly young families. You're going to want to go to a more established neighborhood like 20 Mile or Coastal Oaks because they're going to think that's where the older kids are. So I think those are going to continue to grow. And then Seabrook and all of there will continue to grow with maybe first-time home buyers because the builders are offering so much. And then also people that are moving here that, you know, as crazy as it sounds, it's like, oh, I'm just going to go here first, live here for a little bit, and then decide what I want to do next.
What tech, marketing, or pricing innovations are selling homes faster in 26?
I don't know.
That is an interesting question. It's a topic. I personally think we are going to see a movement with AI because the platform that Zillow and Realtor.com and so forth is on that, you know, obviously refer them an agent, agent's going to pay them type of thing. Now there's going to be another platform, which I know there are others developing out there right now that are actually going to integrate a true AI search where you can have a conversation like you're talking to a virtual realtor and have hey, I want that big backyard. I need 4 bedrooms and then an office. So really kind of a 5th bedroom or in, you know, all the things that you know, with that real unique, and it's going to narrow it down. And I feel talking to some of these AI people, and I had one on, Lyman Starmer, it's been almost a year now, where he is working on something and he would like it to get to the point where someone can actually go in and say, I need to be within 20 minutes of work. Here's my work address. I want to be able to pass by a Starbucks or a Kookaburra or whatever, coffee shop or whatever, their type of thing. Has to be, you know, grocery store on the way home, whatever. And AI is going to narrow that down and tell you all the things that all the houses that are listed. Here's all the houses that are listed that would fit that criteria. Yeah. I know it can. I actually, you know, I officiate high school football, and when we go in the playoffs, we have mixed crews. So the guys are from all over the, you know, Jacksonville, St. Johns County, whatever. And we're having to drive a couple hours to the west, so we're all going to carpool, right? So I go in there and I actually inputted everybody's address and said, where would be the best place for us to meet up to go to a game that's here at this address? And it came out and said, oh yeah, you guys should meet at the Pilot truck stop because there's plenty of parking. It's well lit, and it's the most convenient spot for everybody.
Perfect.
Yeah. I really think it's going that the AI home search is probably almost, if you inputted all the houses that were for sale and said, hey, which one of these would be best because I work over here, it's going to give you that answer depending on what you're desiring, a short drive or...
It definitely saves time on research.
Yeah. I think it's going to be more friendly like that. I think it's going to, as the year goes on, someone's going to launch a bigger, better platform. And obviously, I haven't looked recently, but obviously Zillow and those places are having some of their issues and pains of growing. I think it's the analogy would be the BlackBerry and cell phone thing. They didn't want to change. I think Zillow wants to change. They're just trying to figure out how to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, on my website, the only thing that I use with AI is I have an AI assistant named Alex. So when someone registers, he messages them. And, you know, he'll talk to them about a house and what they're looking for and everything. And then once they get kind of to a stopping point, he's like, I'll have someone from Sarah Schwartz's team reach out to you or whatever. And then it sends me an email that's like, this person's ready for follow-up.
Yeah. Everyone should have that.
Yes.
And I think everyone should have I think everyone needs to go to their own websites. Yes. I really, you know, the website business should pick up because now you're powered by AI. You're just as strong as Zillow when it comes to searching if you do it correctly.
And then if you have people searching on your website versus Zillow,
you don't have to pay.
Makes all the difference.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think it's part of that thing. You know, I'm sure you get calls where if they come from one of these, you know, I know, you know, my wife gets it from Realtor.com, and they're shopping agents. Right. And they're like, okay, why should I, you know, use you? I hear her on the phone talking to these people, and if you're not really good at that, because they might have just literally just clicked realtor.com, which didn't really tell them a whole bunch other than, hey, this is a very, she has a lot of good reviews. Okay, you got some good reviews. But if you go on your website where they're seeing your face, maybe you get your kids on there, it's friendly, they're seeing pictures of the neighborhoods that they may want, and the fact that you are, advertising that neighborhood, on your site and so forth. And then by the time they call you, it's easy. They've already made pretty much 90% of their decision.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of like on Facebook when somebody is like, "Oh, I'm looking for a realtor. Does anyone have a recommendation?" I love it when they're anonymous because I want to be like smart, or you would get bombarded with messages. So, I mean, even with
I look at the date.
Oh my god!
If it's been more than a day, I don't answer.
Even if it's an hour, it's just like this poor soul. But I mean, I will respond with my website, and it's like, look at me, like check me out. If you want to work with me, great. If not, you have a plethora of options. And I think, like, so being Jewish, we have a or like a Facebook group, and the other day someone was like looking for a realtor recommendation, and instead of, I commented, but then I messaged her and I was like, you are going to get so many recommendations for great realtors here. I would love the opportunity for you to interview me. And then we spoke last night. She's like, I've spoken with a few others. Who knew there were so many Jewish realtors in Jacksonville? And I was like, tell me about it. So, I mean, it's like just trying to do something to make yourself stand out a little bit, and having the website with the AI really helps. Well,
I think also for those who are not big social media, I do a bunch of Instagram, you can make a website look really great, and you can have the best pictures of yourself on there and that sort of thing, where, I think, people fear doing the social media because they might say the wrong thing or have the wrong smile on or whatever. You can make the website make you look like
$1 million.
Yeah. But like you said, direct people there and make it that one-stop shop, and add the AI search on there, which I could tell you how to do that too. All right. We've been going almost an hour and a half, actually. Wow. Yeah, so we're going right along. I appreciate you coming back. This is really great stuff. There's really a lot of good information. If you want to reach Sarah, it's in the show notes, but I think it's just the sarahschwartzgroup.com, right? sarahschwartzgroup.com. If you can reach out to Sarah, I'm sure she'd have coffee with you if you'd wanted some advice or some insight more on what we talked about today. But we talked about so many topics, but I think they're constant trending topics and questions here locally that we talked about, but every real estate agent really nationally is thinking about in their own little markets.
Yes. Yeah. And yes, I am happy to meet with anyone. I think when I first started, one thing that was hard for me was I reached out to someone and was like, hey, I'd love to pick your brain. And they were kind of like, why? Just find a mentor at your own brokerage. And so I've always been the opposite, and I'm an open book and happy to talk to anyone. Well,
I will preface this, talking to several hundred of the top agents in there, and occasionally that topic comes up where people are asking to go get coffee or whatever. Yeah. If you are going to ask one of these top people for advice, you have to implement some form of what they've talked about, or just plain say, what, I totally disagree and can't see myself doing that. At least they know, and buy them a cup of coffee. So but don't go there with a pretense, and they spill, which a lot of them are willing to do. Yeah. But a lot of them have gotten now are more protective because they've talked to so many and nobody's done what they've told them to do. So you have to go with an open mind that, hey, I'm going to hopefully implement something they tell me.
Take a nugget.
And then obviously follow back up and appreciate them and say, hey, you know what? I took this from our conversation. I just implemented this one thing and I got a deal from it. And that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
This may be it for today's episode of Real Estate Excellence, but we both know your pursuit of excellence doesn't stop here. To connect with the best of the best and really take your skills to the next level, join our community by visiting TracyHayesPodcast.com, where you'll meet more like-minded individuals looking to expand their inner circle and their personal experience. That's available at TracyHayesPodcast.com.